Hello there,
Howdy.
and welcome to another exciting episode of Dead Reflections Podcasts. This is episode 6, right?
Correct.
I can count.
And we are recording from a special location.
Yes, a very scary hotel room.
In Lubbock, Texas.
Yes, we have a show today, and we wanted to make sure that we stayed on, on the straight path of releasing episodes, so we decided to do this in the hotel room. And we even were able to make a setup out of it, and I think this looks cool, and we should do this all the time. Like this. This is cool shit.
Get one thing.
EMF reader. Oh, yeah, and we're doing this thing with disposable cameras. Colby's obsessed with disposable cameras, so he's going to take a picture.
The idea for that is I bought a 2-pack, and I've seen other photographers do this where you give 2 disposables to 2 different photographers.
Uh-huh.
You go shoot the same stuff and see what different takes we had on it. We drove 2 different separate vehicles.
And you have yet
That's
to
And
take
I have yet to
picture.
take mine out of it. So.
Right, shh.
All right. Did you take it?
Now you turn the flash on.
Turn the flash on.
Okay.
So are we facing you? Oh,
Jesus,
God, it's so
I
bright.
cannot see now.
That's
Okay.
fucking weird because I saw myself taking it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
that was
gonna
meta.
flash like on the
Yeah,
video.
it'll be bright,
That's
but that'll be cool.
So, what kind of stories do we got today?
Oh, today's episodes are going to be doppelganger stories for the most part. We drew doppelganger last time.
Yeah, I know I have a
Y'all's do,
doppelganger
yeah.
story.
I don't have a doppelganger story. I did some research of some little haunted areas in Lubbock, and there's actually a very fucking haunted hotel in Lubbock.
All right.
Just
Why
down
didn't we
yonder.
stay there? No, I'm
It's
just kidding.
expensive.
We try.
we don't have money for that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, next time we come back to Lubbock, we
That's
can.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We would love to play out here some more after this show.
if you're listening to this on Monday, we played a show a couple days ago, and but yeah, no,
We'll be playing with Neon Graves, Bastion, ourselves, and then
be okay.
Be Okay and Through Life.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a crazy show. This is
Yeah,
gonna
we
be a
should
fun one.
dedicate the band links to those guys. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
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 This is going to be a special one.
I mean, if you want to go ahead and tell you what merch you're wearing. then
Yeah,
you're
we'll run
welcome.
through that. I got In Spirit, the original lineup of Vanna created another band, and they are In Spirit.
Oh, That's cool.
And,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they're very
I'll
good.
have to check that out.
I got a Die Artist Murder
Die
shirt
Artist
on.
Murder. Dude, those guys, they're Australian and they're
Yeah.
fucking awesome. Yeah, when we went and saw them, that was pretty funny how he was talking about like cussing in Australian, like
Cunts.
It's like bitch is worse than cunt. Like people call each other cunts all the
Yeah.
time, but if you call someone a bitch, it's like as bad as what cunt means
Yeah.
in America. Like I was just like, whoa, that's interesting.
Hey,
Like-
and you just picked up a brand new shirt yourself, right? You got your
Mhm.
Dayseeker hat on, but you got
Yeah.
a shirt from.
I got some. I don't remember the name of it, but it's apparently some Japanese horror anime that is like it looks all bloody. It's got a chick that's like being held up by strings like she's a puppet, and then some other chick that's got blood coming out of her mouth and stuff, and a bunch of Japanese
from
words.
GameStop too, of all places.
Yeah,
which is dope.
GameStop. I had to go check out GameStop here in Lubbock, and they had that shirt, and I was like, I'm getting that. Like, and it was. I think it was on clearance. It was like $10.
Yeah, I actually I did that a while ago where I bought a bunch of shirts from
Hell
there.
yeah,
I
dude.
got a Legend of Zelda, and then some Ghostbusters and a bunch of nerd stuff.
Oh yeah.
We,
Oh yeah.
we need to light the ceremonial candle.
do.
Yes. It's
Start
time
our
to light-
spooky
we got
stories.
a-
Not our normal candles, but
Yeah.
candle nonetheless.
We'll still make sure that number 6 is up on the table when we get back to the DRP cave.
Oh
The
god,
haunted DRP.
the
cave.
DRP FWF.
Yeah,
The-
DRP FWF
The
cave.
demon infested
Yeah,
podcast
thanks
area.
to Colby and his Ouija board
Demon
shenanigans.
summoning. Yeah.
That
Alright.
man was literally asking
will-
for every demon.
I'll stop you there because I forgot one. I forgot to summon Baphomet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
No,
I'm sorry, Baphomet, if you're watching.
Wouldn't that be some shit if
I
he was
for
like a
sure
really big
remember
fan?
you saying Baphomet.
No,
I
I
No,
said
you didn't.
Beelzebub
Yeah.
and
Oh, I have to go back and watch the
I
Twitch
said
VOD.
Beelzebub and Behemoth, but I didn't say Baphomet.
Behemoth
so.
was probably the one.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Okay, enough demon talk.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about a spooky hotel that we have
Yeah.
Yeah.
that-
in our area?
Are you gonna, reveal your surprise?
Yeah. So we're at the time that we're recording this, we have an idea to go to the hotel and either get a story from an employee, or maybe if we can check the hotel out ourselves without actually like buying a room.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're gonna try to do that. If it's in the later part of this episode, we did it. If it's not, we didn't.
We didn't.
We didn't.
Or we did, and we didn't survive. To
That too.
to
Oh,
edit
God.
it.
But yeah, no. This
Call 911.
this story. So this hotel is called originally called the Pioneer Hotel, and but now it's I believe the official title is the Pioneer Pocket Hotel.
Yeah, that's what I saw on.
Yeah. So like
on websites.
I think only part of the building is actually like accessible now.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I got all kinds of backstory on it. So, the Pioneer Hotel, an 11-story building between Main Street and Broadway on Avenue K. It's a weird thing, avenue and like lettered avenues in
Yeah.
Lubbock.
Yeah,
we were
it
coming back
is-
from Guitar Center. We took an exit on Avenue Q.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway.
they're just like, whatever. I don't feel like naming
We
shit.
move on.
Yeah.
Main Street and Broadway on Avenue K pays homage to beautiful Renaissance revival architecture landscape of the Roaring '20s, while also becoming a hallmark of the highs and lows that pepper West Texas's past. The Pioneer Hotel was built in 1925. The 11-story building was one of Lubbock's first premier hotels and one of the city's remaining pre-World War II buildings. For over 30 years, the Lubbock Hotel's ground and opulent ballroom presented itself as the place to be for the social elite. While only a stone's throw away in the hotel's lobby, Air Force officers from the nearby base would entertain themselves late into the night. Although formally granted the title of tallest building in Lubbock, the headline was soon captured by the Metro Tower from 1955 onward. Even though the hotel experienced the loss of such a grandiose moniker, the 1950s were a time proven to be colored with further loss and sadness, and dare we say, paranormal activity, through a series of haunted, mysterious events. Now we get into the legend of the Pioneer Hotel.
That's
Started
perfect.
January 16th, 1958, when a tourist couple from Nebraska came to stay the night. They checked their bags in, toured around the lobby and ballroom before making their way to their final resting place on the 4th floor. You need to remember the 4th floor.
Okay.
While they were sleeping, a stranger snuck in, took 2 ropes fashioned into nooses, tied around their necks to the bedposts. He then viciously beat the husband, fastened down the ropes on the bedpost, and proceeded to, one by one, carry both victims to the window and throw them over the side,
God.
immediately snapping their necks.
Oh, my
Jesus.
goodness.
No one witnessed the man enter the room or leave it, and there were no reports of noises throughout the night. That's the first story.
Interesting.
Police made an attempt to investigate the murder, but with it being the late 1950s, no evidence and no sign of how the killer got in without being seen, the case became stagnant. Anita Fisher, the president, as well as a sensitive medium, if you will,
Okay.
at the Lubbock Ghost Investigation Society, an organization that aims to investigate, research, and document evidence of ghosts, hauntings, and paranormal activity. Fisher said she had years of experience with malevolent spirits, such as this particular murderer. She said, "We have been attacked by negative energy many times, but we try to talk through with them what they think is unfinished, offer them options and resolution. Unfortunately, the Pioneer Hotel killer did not find any such resolution, and the body count continues to rise." A few weeks after the couple was murdered, a man from California made a stop at the Pioneer Hotel because of a flat tire. The cheapest room he could stay in was, of course, on the 4th floor. The police reports from that particular night are lacking in detail because of the gory nature of the murder. But like the previous case, there was no eyewitness evidence, and no concrete explanation. The fact that they never solved this case and never got a real picture of who the murderer was makes people wonder. But with no suspect, the paranormal nature of the hotel seems all more real. The next murder took place in the late 1970s when 2 victims met their fate on the 4th floor, also of the 4th floor in the Pioneer Hotel. The strange thing about these 2 is they're 2 months apart.
Like the killings?
Yeah. That.
Okay.
A few months apart, 2 different victims were found at the bottom of the staircase with nearly every bone in their bodies broken,
What the fuck?
appearing as if someone had violently pushed them.
So
within 2 months of each other, like
Similar.
yeah.
not
That's way
related,
too
at the
similar.
bottom of the staircase of the 4th floor, both like same exact fate.
There's no
You'll
even
know we're going
falling
to the
4
stairwell to the
stories.
4th
Like you
floor.
wouldn't break every bone in your body.
They only
bro.
felt one, like
Yeah, one
Oh.
flight.
one flight.
Oh,
Yeah.
what the
And
fuck?
then even if you think about that, the way hotels, they're half a flight per.
Yeah.
You go half a flight, then you turn a corner, then you go the other half of the flight.
So like to me, I thought of they probably got pushed over the railing.
Yeah,
And fell
it just
straight.
fell straight
Yeah.
through that little tiny like area where it circles down or whatever.
Yes.
And that
And
would
just
have
landed
had
back at the
yeah,
bottom
yeah,
of the fourth.
11
Yeah.
stories up. Then yeah, I could see that breaking every bone. But damn, turned into goop.
The last of the 3 in the 70s, and most relatively explainable death, was an overdose. But the fact that it also occurred on the 4th floor left an eerie curiosity among hotel visitors. Every single death that's been recorded in this hotel has been on the 4th floor.
That's insane.
It reminds me of American Story Hotel, kinda a little bit.
Yeah. The legend of the Lubbock Pioneer Hotel hauntings have not been forgotten over the years, and visitors continue to report seeing the couple hanging from their hotel room on the 4th floor, and even being chased by a shadowing figure some believe to be the ghost of the unidentified murderer back in 1958.
Bro.
With no suspects and no reason to think the murders would ever end. The hotel was closed and stood vacant for years before the current owners intervened, leaving only ghosts to roam the halls.
Dude, I know how much it costs to stay there for a night. Like, I'm willing to pay for us to stay there tonight.
Ask for a room on the 4th floor.
Yes. Obviously, the 4th floor rooms are cheaper.
I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah. If y'all are down,
See-
I got the money I could pay for it.
We'll have
See-
to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm down to investigate.
You don't want to sleep
I'm not.
there.
Well, I don't think we're gonna sleep. That's the thing.
That's fine. We can sleep when this
If we're,
fucking
if, we're
sun comes
just,
up.
if we're gonna get done with the show plan and my neck's gonna be thrown out, I'm gonna sleep.
We
ghost
will
or
be
not.
the most like ghosts aren't gonna fucking care about us. They only go after people that are like in tip top shape, right? That's how it is, right?
It's almost always.
Yeah, totally. Like, so we'll be tired. Like, they're gonna be like, those guys aren't gonna be any fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like,
But yeah, that's the story of
that's
the
my logic,
Pioneer
and
Hotel.
I think it's true.
I think footsteps are starting to scare me now because the only thought I had about whenever you said the shadow person running
Yeah.
is that if you're like trying to get into your room or like specifically with our door, I remember I clicked my little key against the
It
reader
doesn't wanna
and it
read.
doesn't go a couple times. If I was doing that and I just heard like getting close to it, yeah, exactly. But nobody there, but I could hear it getting closer.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh man,
Yeah,
But,
that's a
I
little
mean,
spook.
we're only 4 minutes away from it.
Yeah,
we are only 4 minutes away from it.
And it was like how many stories was it again?
So there was the initial murder in the 1958.
Uh-huh.
Then there was the
Oh, excuse me. How many levels stories? Like 11 stories.
11. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was 11 because we drove by it.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we drove by it whenever we were going to Guitar Center. We saw it. And It's like a
Oh.
big brick building. It's kind of U-shaped almost. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking.
Neat.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
mean,
one
I'm
of
down.
it's one of those old hotels that they built a ballroom into like the center of.
That's cool as shit. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that's why it's so expensive because it's
you
historic.
Said, you said $150?
It's like a
It
like,
was when we checked a week ago.
Yeah.
Well, let's check.
We'll check. We'll check
yeah.
now after we're done and
Okay.
getting ready.
Okay. Now, please tune in as we talk to people from the hotel staff and possibly get some stories of ghosts.
That night, we made the decision to rent a room. We ended up receiving a tour of the entire hotel, from the roof to the basement. We were even told of another ghost seen in the lobby.
He always walks this way, like right here in the alley, across in front of the brewery, and he was like, y'all ran her off. He was basically warning them, you don't want to do that. Like, that's her area.
Yeah.
You don't want her to. So this is what all the guests and the people that live here, they all have like scanners, and it's all done like this. People, the Pocket Hotel, they just get like codes to the door. And it's no receptionist, anything. They just have all this stuff ready for your room. So rooms are really nice.
Yes, they are. We
got
got
Oh, y'all did?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all are staying here tonight.
Yeah,
That's
307.
awesome.
All three of us. We just got like the first room. And it's like, oh, I'm sitting on the floor, I guess. Like,
All the stories from my research were confirmed, except the death count. Turns out a death was added 2 months ago when a person walked off the roof at 4 a.m.
There's a line around here where that one goes, and it used to go up to the 4th floor, that stairwell. And that was one of the...
that makes it creepier.
Yeah, they walled it off because that's where some of the... There was a... That's where the people fell down the stairs and they found them at the bottom.
How was the...
All their bones were broken.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that and then the original 1958 murder.
Yeah.
And then there was one other.
There was one other. There was like an overdose.
It was like, yeah, the overdose, that's right.
Yeah, overdose. So this is the basement down here. There's a lot of... I've only been here 2 years. I've been down here by myself many a times. Christina, our other has been here for a long time. There is some creepy stuff down here that goes on there. Weird noises. There's cold pockets. There's really dense feelings sometimes when you're walking. Yeah, you like walk back here. Oh yeah. I've got bad feelings back in this room before, like heavy feelings.
Oh, look at me. They got ghosts for sure.
One of the creepier things that I've seen is the elevators have a lower level. A lady dropped her keys down there one time that lived here, and I tried to look down. I came to this one, and I don't know. So I was trying to look down there, and it goes.
Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah,
a full
that's a
room
long
down there,
way down.
and there is. The last time I looked, there's stuff down there like. There's a broom. There was cigarettes down there last time. There was a Coke can unopened.
Like, where
I don't
we
know
go?
how. I don't know how you get down there. I think that has to be a elevator maintenance.
That'd be cool for band shoots, actually.
Oh,
That's a
gnarly.
really gnarly area as well. I don't like that area. Walking down there, especially at night, it's not fun.
Okay.
Oh no.
Like an old baby.
Oh, they really look like.
From the 20s. That's right up there. They moved it, but it used to be down here for some reason. There's a pew. Go ahead, since you're in. I don't live there anymore. The girls that came and did the podcast, they would go in to film and their phones were cutting out.
Oh,
Video and the videos would stop. That's creepy.
Yo.
And they did it about 4 or 5 times, and every time their video would just cut out. They have found homeless people Yeah, it's cold in there. They've walked in here and found homeless people like in this area.
Oh, yeah.
What is this supposed
I'm
to
sure
be
that's
right
not
here?
very fun. There's cut out literally.
Yeah, I mean, it's still rolling.
That's great. There's cut out.
Was it like a camera or a phone?
It was a phone.
Yeah.
And they were filming on it, and every
crazy.
time both of them did it, and every
Really?
time it would cut out, and they did it 5 times.
That's crazy.
I was watching them do it, so it wasn't some like trick. It just kept cutting out. I'm not a big fan.
I don't know.
Y'all definitely can.
I don't know if there's anything like pipe wise in there, but
No, I did hear something.
okay.
I don't.
Heard a little movement in there.
This room by myself. Sometimes they have us do laundry down here. And this hallway. I can definitely go down every ride for other people here. I avoid it when I'm by myself.
I was gonna say we can go one by one by myself.
Oh, so this is over
Oh,
there
we're
where
connected. Okay. That's the mirror that's facing
Yeah,
backwards.
it has been all open. I think they're starting to wall this off.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a little.
Looked like gunshots. I don't know if you saw that in the wall. I'll show it to y'all. Damn.
It's a McDougal.
Oh, like right here? Oh wow.
That's what that looks like.
West Table and the brewery is all.
Oh, so I did see a Reddit post of someone who went there, and they they said they took the elevator up to the 4th floor. As soon as the doors opened to the hallway, they started like hearing like strange shit, like
Yeah, let's do
within,
that.
like within the walls.
You don't need a room to
They
to
like
take the
they
elevator.
walked out, like walked down the hall like a couple feet,
Yeah.
and just could not go any further. And
Oh, yeah.
and left.
I'm down for that.
I guess a part of me is also I would feel more comfortable staying at a hotel that's fucking haunted than staying here where I feel like our shit's gonna get stolen. Like, no offense to where we're staying, but it's
for
it's
listeners
bad.
and viewers, we
It's
got
very
the
bad.
absolute cheapest hotel we could find.
Yes,
Rather
and
than
it shows.
losing our equipment, we lose our lives.
Little spook or a little financial debt to replace all our gear.
No, we wouldn't die. Ghosts don't kill people.
Oh man.
That we
Did
know
you
of.
hear the stories I just read?
Yeah, every
I'm
single
just trying my hardest.
one.
Plus,
do you
I've always
remember-
wanted to stay in a haunted hotel, so like.
I
That's
mean, me
part of
too,
it.
but like, I already
We
know.
have our chances.
I already
4 minutes away.
know there's no sleeping gonna like be involved.
It's okay. You're not the one driving home. I am.
There's no sleeping when it's.
I'll sleep like a fucking baby.
Shut up.
Dude, Colby, I did not
Okay,
get
y'all
any
can-
sleep last night. Colby literally sounds like a bear fucking juggling chainsaws. Like it's insane.
I look like a bear.
It, okay, I thought that
Dude,
was
I heard-
knocking
I
and I
heard
got
tapping.
super
Yeah.
fucking worried for a second.
Josh, do you remember who told the last story last time?
I told the last story like just now.
No.
No. Last episode.
You did.
Okay.
That's right, because you had a bulky one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that means
Oh,
I'm
that is
last
right,
then.
okay.
You go now.
Okay, well, are y'all ready for the first doppelganger tale?
Yeah.
Okay, I only got one from Reddit, and it's just titled The Doppelganger.
Okay.
And it's by Riley Vanderlip.
Don't worry, I don't have any fucking stingers.
Oh, I was waiting on it. That's,
Yeah.
that's why I left the pause. Okay.
Yeah, we're a little bare bones right now.
We'll put that in the
we
in
could
the,
in the
in
post, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, The Doppelganger by Riley Vanderlip, retorted on Reddit/creepypasta. Okay. We always fear the unknown, the other that we can't explain. It's just a basic human psychology. We aren't afraid of things that we are afraid of things that we don't understand. We are always trying to understand everything. When we discover something that doesn't quite make sense, we try our best to solve it. My name is Nicholas. I'm a 20-year-old student living in Toronto. Being a more scientific person, I've never believed in the unexplainable. I've always believed that there's a reason for everything, and everything always made sense. It was just a matter of understanding the problem. But I'm writing this right now because there's something I can't explain. something I don't think anyone can explain, something that couldn't possibly make any sense at all, and I'm scared. I'm going to start from the beginning when I was 6 years old. 14 years ago was my first encounter with my doppelganger. I remember that day extremely well, and it stands out as being clearer than any of my other childhood memories. I lived on a farm just south of Toronto, and I had one older brother, Joshua. He was 2 years older than me. It was in the evening, and I was playing hide and seek with Joshua. I thought it would be a good idea to climb up into the attic. Joshua was always afraid to go up there, so I knew he'd never find me. Joshua was always more of a believer in the unknown than I was, even as a child. Tales of ghosts and demons never scared me. They terrified him. So I climbed into the attic, hid under an old dusty china cabinet, and I waited for him to find me. It was almost difficult not to contain my laughter when I was hiding under there. I was laughing at my own superiority over Joshua. I had outsmarted him. However, I heard the attic hatch open, and I stopped giggling to myself. I was impressed. I remember thinking Joshua had actually had the nerve to come up there and look for me. I heard light steps walk on the creaky attic floor. They were getting closer to my hiding spot. I then saw two little bare feet stop right next to my cabinet. Joshua then knelt down, peeked his head underneath the cabinet to face me. My heart sank. That wasn't my brother. It was another child. Not just any other child, it was me. It looked just like me, but something was off about his face. To this day, I still don't quite know what it is, but the fact that it never showed any expression, a straight face. I didn't scream when I saw it. I was too scared to scream. My mind was too occupied with trying to figure out what was going on. Joshua? I lightly asked, already knowing the question was stupid. The child didn't respond. It just kept staring at me like it was expecting something of me. After what seemed like an eternity of staring at each other, the doppelganger stood back up, walked away. My voice then began to work again, and I started screaming and crying until seconds later the hatch flung open and my dad came up to rescue me. I remember my dad carrying me out of the attic and back downstairs. I tried to explain to my parents what I saw up there, but they just chalked it up to me hurting myself under the china cabinet, and nothing more. While my parents never believed me, I knew Joshua did. He never once teased me about the incident, and he looked absolutely terrified when I told him what I saw up there. I think it's pretty self-explanatory to say that I never stepped foot in the attic again. For the longest time, I was convinced it was a ghost in the attic, and the attic was the problem, but it had nothing to do with the attic. It was only up there because I was up there. I had my second experience with the doppelganger when I was 9. At that time, I was finally beginning to forget about my experience with the attic, but one afternoon when I was playing in the backyard with my dog, Jamie, I saw it again. Not until Jamie started barking uncontrollably. I remember the scenery. It was bright, sunny, summer day. I was throwing a stick around in the backyard, and Jamie would bring it back to me every time. There were cornfields behind my yard that stretched for miles. The stalks seemed so tall that the stalks seemed so tall at that age that they waved gently in the wind. I remember my father telling me not to go in the cornfields since I was so small I could get lost in them. That was enough to keep me scared and not stepping foot in the fields. That day I was outside with Jamie. I had my back turned to the cornfield, and after I threw the stick, Jamie started running back towards me with it.
Excuse me.
But then he stopped and dropped the stick a few feet away from me. He started staring at the cornfield behind me. Then he started barking uncontrollably. I turned around to see the doppelganger standing at the edge of the field, motioning for me to come with it.
Nope.
It had aged, just like I did when I last saw it. It now resembled a 9-year-old me. It was wearing the same clothes as I wore that day, but its face retained that same dead look. Jamie continued to bark at the doppelganger, but kept his distance. I just stood next to Jamie and stared at it. Whenever I saw it, I completely froze up. It finally stopped motioning for me to follow it and then ran off into the cornfield. The terrifying part about this encounter was what happened the very next day. I was in my room when I heard my mother scream at the top of her lungs. My entire family, along with I bolted out of the house to see what had happened. Apparently, my mother took Jamie outside while she did some gardening. She lost sight of Jamie, and when she went to go look for him, she found him in the cornfield. He wasn't alive. I'll spare you the details, but it wasn't a pretty sight.
No.
It scared my entire family for a while, and my parents blamed it on coyotes, but it was clear that this wasn't the doing of any coyote. There weren't even any bite marks on Jamie. This was the work of something entirely different, something very sadistic. I knew exactly what killed Jamie too. It was that doppelganger. It must have gotten angry when Jamie barked at it, so it took its revenge on Jamie when it was vulnerable.
What an asshole.
I tried telling my parents what I saw the day before, and they blamed Jamie's death on, and I blame my... I tried telling my parents what I saw the day before and blamed Jamie's death on my doppelganger. My parents got really angry at me this time and told me not to use Jamie's death as a cry for attention. After that day, I never told them about any of my experiences moving forward. I never told anyone for that matter. I learned in my years later that doing so would only make me seem mentally unstable. I had a few other encounters with the doppelganger over the years, but most of them were little glimpses of it watching me. I learned that during this time, I was the only person that could see it. Sometimes I'd be playing with Joshua only to see a figure in my stature watching from afar. Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night to see him standing in the corner. Sometimes I'd see him at school. I'd like to say I'd learned to handle it pretty well. Looking back at myself as a child, I'm pretty proud of how well I managed it. Keep my cool whenever I saw it. And of course, I was scared whenever I saw it, but I learned quickly that if I didn't pay attention, it would go away. There was one night that it scared the living hell out of me, though. And I was about 12 when this happened. I had woken up about 4 a.m. in the morning. My throat was dry, and I hated getting up in the middle of the night, but I needed something to drink. Joshua and I slept in the same room, and whenever I needed to get up at night, I would wake him up and ask him to come with me. So that's exactly what I did that night. I got up, shook Joshua slightly, turned his head, he looked at me. Can you come with me while I get water downstairs? I really need a drink of water. He didn't say anything, he just got up out of bed and followed me downstairs. He stood by the kitchen door and was watching me as I filled up a glass of water and drank the whole thing in one go. I set the glass on the counter, walked back up to my room with Joshua following. He went back to bed and I went back to mine. I almost fell back asleep without realizing something that was very wrong. Joshua and my dad left to go on a camping trip last night.
Oh.
They weren't supposed to come back until next week. I slowly turned my head towards Joshua's bed just to see him sitting on it, facing me. He wouldn't move. He just sat there the entire night and watched me.
Nope.
I was too scared to say anything, as it clearly wasn't Joshua, and I kept my eye on the doppelganger until my eyes failed me, and I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning, Joshua's bed empty. I only saw the doppelganger a few more times after that, until I moved out of the house at 18. I moved to the big city of Toronto to study engineering, and I was hoping that the doppelganger would stay at the farm, and by moving away, I may never have to see it again. I was very, very wrong.
Damn it.
The first 2 years were nice. I actually never saw the doppelganger in my time at the university. I would still think about it from time to time, but it was becoming a fading memory. An unexplainable event from my childhood is now long gone. However, yesterday I finally saw it again. And that's why I'm writing this. This was a different encounter than usual. Yesterday, I returned from my apartment from one of those late night classes. And when I locked the door and turned around, I saw a man standing on my balcony. I thought it was a home intruder at first, till it turned around to face me, and it was a man who looked exactly like me. I thought it was my reflection through the sliding glass door at first, but I knew that wasn't the case. The man's face had a dead look in his eyes. Skin pale, face emotionless. Overwhelming dread sunk over me when I realized that the doppelganger was back and started to motion for me to come over to the balcony with it. Instead of standing there in shock like I've always done, I found some courage, and instead I got angry. I clenched my fist and stormed towards the sliding glass door. I swung it open, full force, came face to face with it. I had been this close to it since I was a small child. Stop following me, I demanded. That's when I think I made the grave mistake. The doppelganger changed the look on its face. It frowned, comically, like how a clown would overexpress their emotions.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
And then it turned around and effortlessly leaped off the balcony. It jumped down.
Yo.
Half expecting to see a figure falling from the 7th story, but I never saw a thing. It was like he never jumped in the first place. I had my first panic attack shortly after. I closed that sliding door. Closed that sliding door and felt like I was drowning. The entire room was spinning around me. After what felt like hours, but really only 10 minutes, I regained control of myself and went to bed early that night, trying to tell myself to figure out exactly what had happened to me before I got home. I was awoken by my phone ringing at my bedside table. I checked the time. It was 4 a.m. I answered it, still half asleep, my mother on the other end panicking. It took her a while to gather herself. She then told me, "Nick, I'm following an ambulance to the hospital right now. It's about your father." What happened? I asked, now fully awake. God, I don't know. It's horrific. I found him in the garage that late. It was so brutal. Nick, I don't know. Can you just meet us at the hospital? Of course, I said. My voice shook. I hung up the phone. I flicked on my lamp, got dressed until I heard a knock at my bedroom door. I froze. "Hey, Nick," a voice said on the other side. It sounded like my dad. But it was very different in a way I can't explain. "Can you let me in? It's cold out here."
No, sir.
I didn't visit the hospital that night. Instead, I stayed in my room like a coward and refused to leave. I'm broken. I don't know what to do anymore. That wasn't my father on the other side of the door. It was my doppelganger, sadistically pretending to be him. Like, was it a joke, or was it me getting punishment for yelling at it? I got a call in the morning from my mother, but I let it go to voicemail. When I got the courage to listen to it, she told me that my father died shortly after his arrival to the hospital.
Fuck.
She then cursed at me for not showing up.
Oh.
She told me that I wasn't welcome back home ever again and that I was a disappointment to the family. I don't know if I'll ever be able to face my family again. This doppelganger has ruined my life, and the worst part about it is I don't know what he wants. It never touches me, but it's constantly harming those around me. And whenever it gets pissed off, it seems to take its revenge in some way. Last night was the first time it spoke, and I have no idea what it meant by it. It's cold out here. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. I can't think straight. And I'm dreading the next time it comes back. There's no escaping it. I'm starting to think about taking drastic measures, but I really hope it doesn't come to that.
Yo, that's crazy. So they really emphasized on the whole, like, the doppelganger can be doppelgangers of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
What was the dog's name again?
Jamie.
Yeah, that is an interesting name.
Pour one out for Jamie.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I've told 2 stories now where dogs have died. One was
Pour
from
one out
bitter
for
instinct,
Jamie.
Yeah.
We didn't pour one out for his dad that died.
Yeah, but it was really weird when I was reading it just on the bed over there. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, initially it started with mimicking him, and then it became
Yeah.
his brother, and then his dad.
And the dead face.
Yeah,
I almost wanted to say
completely-
dead reflection. It's like it's a dead
Yeah.
reflection of you.
Exactly.
Full circle.
So,
we go, full circle.
so I did get chills, not because of the story, but because of the setting we're in. I
You got a mirror right in front of you.
I kept staring at you in the reflection of the bathroom mirror,
Yeah.
and I was just waiting for it to look over.
Yeah, like for it, or like to be like
look me in the
mismatched.
eye while you're telling a story.
See, that would like ruin me, but I think I would I wouldn't say anything about it, but if I looked and like if you were talking,
if I was talking
and
like,
you were stone faced over there, that I don't know if I would say anything, but
Yeah.
I would like go cold. Like
Yeah.
I would be like I wouldn't be able to deal with that.
like, we have 2 mirrors.
Yeah, 2 mirrors
in front of us.
2 giant mirrors too.
Yeah.
Yeah, big ones, like a full body mirror and then a
Like a
a
big bathroom
vanity, I
vanity
guess.
mirror,
yeah. That's crazy.
Whoa, that was a really good story.
Okay, so so you guys are talking about the mirrors. Well, I'm about to really fucking put a fucking damper on your day because
No,
mine
man.
is like
Yay.
doppelgangers,
And
mirrors.
mirrors.
No, dude.
It even talks
I
about
don't like
cameras and how that's associated with it.
Ooh,
Like,
that's
I'm about to
personal.
ruin Caleb's life.
So personal to Caleb.
He's just like, fuck. Like, y'all were talking about the mirrors and the reflection, and I'm just sitting here like,
That's okay. We got dolls next.
Oh, you're fucking right. Oh, so, damn.
That's okay. Well, just
It's okay. Okay.
just tell me your
You're
story.
fidgeting so bad. All right, so mine is also just called Doppelganger. Doppelganger is a German word that literally means double goer. Legend has it that if you see your doppelganger, you will die. There are many true instances where this has occurred. For example, in 1860, right after winning the presidential election, Abraham Lincoln had a vision of his doppelganger. It happened while he was laying on his lounge in his bedchamber. Lincoln could see his full reflection in a mirror on his bureau, only there was something odd about it. It looked like he had two distinct faces, but 3 inches apart. When he stood up, the illusion melted away, and when he lay back down, he saw it again. Lincoln also noticed that one of the faces was paler than the others, almost ghostly pale. Full circle with your story.
Yep.
He went on with excitement of the day, almost forgetting about the vision in the mirror. Excuse me. Oh, okay. He was still a bit troubled by what he saw, so he decided to tell his wife. A few days later, he was able to see the image again, but after that, he was never able to see it. It wasn't for lack of trying, because Lincoln even tried to recreate the doubling effect for his wife to see, but he was never able to. Mary Lincoln was extremely worried about the image and thought it was an omen that he would be elected a second time, but would not live through the second term. And he didn't. He got assassinated in the theater. All right, now here's...
He did do that.
Huh?
That did happen.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So what they're saying is they're like associating it with him seeing his doppelganger. Now here's the actual story. That was just the prologue. There's blood on my hands, but it's fine. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. No one knows where...
Wait, pause.
Okay.
Wow, our arm is twitching like crazy.
Why? Oh, what's that about?
I'm not doing anything.
Your muscle is
My muscle's
spazzing out.
spasming
Yeah.
now. That's weird.
Ooh, that can be from stress. Are you stressed?
A little bit.
A little bit. All right, here we go. There's blood on my hands, but it's fine. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. No one knows I was here tonight. No one saw me come in except for my prime, and he won't be telling anyone. Now he doesn't have a voice. I feel giddy. I feel my feelings are overpowering me. These feelings are driving me insane. Where I'm from, we don't even know how to feel. I don't even think people there are aware of their own existence. Why should we be when our primes are making all of our decisions for us? My prime, the man I killed, was the opposite. He has a wife, friends, family, freedom. He decided where we should go and what we should do, but not anymore. Now my prime is lying lifeless on a fine oriental rug. His blood is forming a dark circle around his body. I have the same rug where I'm from, only the pattern is reversed. I look around the room. It seems familiar yet strange. I've been in this room many times, but not in this room. The brown leather couches, the glass coffee table, the matching end tables, they are all the same, yet so different. Where I'm from, everything is reversed, and we all follow whatever our prime decides to do. Our prime are our masters on the other side of the barrier. The barrier is what separates me from my prime's world. And my prime looks into a pool or a spoon or any other reflective surface, I will be there looking back at him mindlessly doing whatever he does. Everyone on my side is a slave to their prime's will. Sorry. I remember when I was born. My prime was reflected on a camera lens. I was being held by my prime's mother, only it wasn't his mother, it was her puppet. And I was his puppet, only I didn't realize it at the time. My prime's mother kissed him and loved him because he was her baby. I was kissed only because that is what the puppet was told to do. The camera flashed, stealing a bit of my prime's soul and giving it to me. It was at that moment when I was not like the rest of the people in my world who followed whatever the primes did without question or objection. I was different. At that moment, I was aware of myself. When we were young, my prime was fascinated with me and I with him. We would look at each other with wide-eyed wonder. At that time, we were equals and neither of us really knowing who was the prime. As we grew older, though, it was clear that he was in control. I was fine with it at first. I loved my prime, and I would do anything for him. Sometimes he would talk to me and ask me questions. I wanted to answer him, but I couldn't. I had no voice to speak with. I wanted to connect with him and tell him what I thought about the world and the journey we were taking. I wanted to answer for myself. I wanted to let him know I was alive and that I loved him. I thought maybe he loved me too. Slowly, though, over the years, I started to realize that my prime didn't see me as an equal. He didn't seem to think I was alive at all. My prime took me for granted. He would make me do foolish and bizarre things, things he wouldn't dare show the rest of the world. He used me for his own amusement. It didn't matter what I wanted because he controlled me. He would even look at me with disdain sometimes. I wonder why he would look at me like that. I didn't do anything except for follow him. 5 years ago, my prime met a beautiful woman with long curly hair. She made us smile every day. We laughed at her jokes and spent a lot of time with her. My prime fell in love, and so did I. The happiest day of my life was when my prime decided he wanted to marry her. He told me first, too. He practiced saying the words in front of me. I wish that I could have been the one to ask her. I wanted to switch places with my prime just once, but I couldn't, so I just followed him. She said yes, and we were soon married in the spring. The wedding was beautiful. I pretended that I was the one saying the vows, although I would have said them differently if I could. One night, my prime and his wife lay in bed sleeping. This was always my favorite part of the day. My prime turned over and faced away from her. I wondered why he did that. I loved the wife with all my heart, and I wanted to see her face. My prime was fast asleep, and the connection between us was weak, so I did something I thought was impossible. I gathered my strength, hardened my resolve, and turned over. I looked the wife in the face with my own eyes and with my own free will for the first time in my life. My heart leaped. Her soft hair curled in long locks around her sleeping face. Her body moved up and down at a slow, constant pace. I looked into her face and kissed her on the forehead. I truly loved her. No, it wasn't her. It was her prime that I loved. I turned away from the lifeless doll next to me and went back to following my prime. My true love was on the other side of the barrier. After that, every day was torture. Every kiss which I used to cherish so much was a dagger plunged into my heart. I was jealous of my prime. I loved her more. There was no way anyone could love her as much as I did, and yet he gets to be with her, and I was stuck behind the barrier with her puppet. I had to break free. I had to break my connection with my prime completely and cross the barrier that kept me away from my love. I couldn't live in this world as a slave to my prime any longer. I had to be free. I waited and observed the barrier that kept our worlds apart. There were certain times and places where it was thinner than others. When the reflective surface was dark like a TV screen, or when the reflective surface was foggy like the bathroom mirror, I looked more like a shadow than I did my prime, and the connection weakened. When my prime was sleepy or intoxicated, he held less power over me, and I knew I could use this to my advantage. I practiced moving on my own at night, and I was eventually able to move around freely whenever I wanted. All my prime would see was a shadow that passed in the corner of his eye. Of course, when he looked at me directly, the connection was strengthened again, and I was a slave to his will. Finally, my chance to leave my prison came when my prime's wife bought a full-length antique mirror. She didn't know it, but the mirror was coated in mercury, a poisonous and magical element. She hung it in the living room. Because of the strange qualities in the mercury, the barrier between worlds was so thin, all I needed was for my prime to look away, and I knew I would be able to cross. I had already planned out the exact time to escape. Sometime in the middle of the night, my prime took me through the living room and into the kitchen. He never turned the lights on and never woke his wife. I would make the switch and throw him across the barrier to be my puppet, so I could be the prime. I was ever ready for the night when he would sleepily pass the antique mirror and we would trade places forever. Tonight it finally happened. In the cold December night, my prime woke from his slumber. I put on his robe and left the bedroom. Anticipation rose in my stomach as he led me down the stairs and into the living room. He passed the mirror and I easily broke through. I leaped out of the mirror and landed safely on the other side. My prime didn't notice me at all. I grabbed him from behind and pushed him into the mirror, but it didn't work. Instead, the mirror broke into pieces, and my prime cut his head on the glass. He cried out in pain, and I felt the wound on my head too. I checked my forehead. Normally I would be bleeding, but not this time. I smiled. I was uninjured by our connection, but our connection was so strong I still felt my prime's pain. My prime tried to pull himself together up off the floor. I could feel the mirror pulling me back in. I panicked. I didn't mean to hurt him. Honestly, that was not my intent. If he looked at me directly, I knew I would be a reflection again. I wasn't thinking. I just wanted my freedom. I took one of the glass shards in my hand. I couldn't go back inside the mirror, not once I had my freedom. I used my hand to cover his mouth. His face was hot, and blood streamed down his forehead. I cut open his throat with the mirror. He made a gurgling noise as the blood gushed from his neck. He fell in a heap on the oriental rug. Now he's lying here, on the floor dead, and my hands are covered with his blood. I look at his lifeless eyes and I look at his lifeless eyes and laugh like a madman. I wanted my freedom at any cost, but now that it's time to pay, I don't know if I can. All of my life I have depended on my prime to make all my decisions. He was always there, even when I hated him. When I wanted to be free from him and tried so hard to break our connection, he was still my life. What about my love, his wife? Would she really accept me as him? If she did, she would still only love me because she loved him. I know now why we don't cross to the other side. The doppelganger cannot survive on the other side of the barrier, even when they are dead. Or primes will still control. Even when they are dead, our primes will still control us. I laugh again, even louder this time. It feels good to have a voice. I feel myself slipping into a giddy madness. The overwhelming burden of freedom strikes me hard. I've never really had to decide anything for myself. I've never had to pull myself up, calm myself down, or build anything with my own hands. My hand. In my hand is the shard of the mirror I used to end my prime's life. I should kill myself if so. I should kill myself. So my prime and I are the same. We need to be the same. The same. Same.
I'm gonna be thinking about that for a hot minute.
That's probably the most interesting story that we've
I know
read
it's a good
so
story.
far.
Oh, and props to BL Mao. That was a creepypasta that they posted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, shout out to that author.
Yeah, that
'cause-
was it was an amazing story. Like
Yeah.
I pulled this story probably about 30 minutes before we started recording, and as I was reading it, I was going through and editing it to make it easier to read.
Yeah.
And I was like, this story is insane. It's really
So,
good.
You were talking.
So that was just a random prime and
Yeah, so
doppelganger.
yeah.
It wasn't
So
a specific.
a
person.
prime is
We are the
us.
prime, and
yeah,
they're the
and our
second.
Yeah, but
reflection
that's
is the
that story was just a random
account. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I kept thinking of Abe Lincoln because you started.
Oh
with
yeah.
I'm just like, this is really strange.
I
for
think the reason why he
one
brought
of our
up
presidents.
yeah, I think the reason why he brought up Abe Lincoln was to kind of show the association with the
Yeah.
mirror and reflection. How if your reflection is not fully connected to you, it can kind of do its
Yeah.
own thing. And he caught it out of the corner of his eye and realized that it was happening.
That, and I would imagine that's a credibility grab too.
Yeah.
That, it's the president.
Yeah, and I feel like that. I feel like I read the story of Abraham
I
Lincoln
think so
talking
too.
about that.
It sounds kind of familiar.
So two things that I wrote down. Said the connection was weak when he was sleepy.
Yeah. Me-
almost asleep, laying
Yeah.
in bed asleep. But the prime's will was weak when he was drunk.
Yeah,
Just the prime.
No, but in both, when he was both sleepy or intoxicated, the prime didn't have as much control over the
yeah.
secondary.
So
Didn't
what
have
he was
much-
talking,
okay.
so what he was talking about is in his own world, he could do whatever
Got
he
it.
wanted instead
I
of being
only
forced to lay
wrote
down.
that down because I thought it contradicted itself.
Yeah.
So as you were halfway through the story, and I was looking around, I was because you prefaced early on as how they're in the reflection
Yeah.
of whatever, or in the screen or whatever, and I was looking around the room, and I was if you what. We have a TV. We have 2 mirrors. We have a computer. We have a lens. We have phones.
glasses.
We have glasses. They're everywhere.
picture
And
frames.
I was looking at the TV a lot, and then you were especially around dark surfaces like TV screens.
Yeah.
Dude.
You're as soon as you
Yeah.
looked at the TV, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
'Cause,
That was
it
a
makes
good
sense because
story.
the mirror is it's a perfect image, and then stuff like that, or I was also thinking of a car. We take pictures of
Yeah.
vehicles. They're all distorted. The image
Yeah,
of
the
ourselves
bending
is
and
distorted.
everything.
Yeah,
And so
it's
if
not
you
as
think about
strong.
it, yeah, your reflection in their world could be doing whatever.
So
if you're
that
not
was
paying
another
attention.
thing that I thought is one. I'm gonna call them a secondary. The doppelganger is a secondary. That makes sense to you. If we're the prime, they're the secondary.
Yeah.
So the secondary, is it just one that is living, or currently at this very moment is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different secondaries, all living in their own little?
That's interesting.
I don't know. I think
That's creepy. Yeah. I know that, like, if
I think there should only be one secondary,
I know.
but
Yeah.
but
That's scary. It's a scary
like
thought.
it's
Windows, kinda?
It's so strong right now.
Yes.
Because there's so many reflections.
Ooh, yeah. It like
oh,
gives
that makes
the,
sense. So you get
like-
all the
yeah.
angles
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
And
then also, last thing is that our eyes, we can see reflections in each other. It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I didn't
reflection
think
is
about that.
quite
Yeah.
literally unavoidable. Now, remember that incident with that prime and that secondary. The reason why the secondary had that consciousness was because they referenced how cameras
chills.
take part of your
don't know
soul.
why.
Yeah, and
And
that was
so
with
that
the,
was
the
why-
Flash, too,
yeah.
for whatever reason. And then as soon as you said that, I was like, I'm gonna take a lot of souls today. So I'm gonna be
Take a lot of
pictures.
souls
I'll be
today.
taking a lot of pictures at the show tonight.
So I just got chills because I was thinking of something that we could do to spook us.
What?
What is this?
Put that mirror right here.
That mirror right there?
Yeah.
I'm gonna move that.
I'm good.
Cause
Yeah, I'm good. Oh no, it's
then-
screwed. I
then-
can see where there's a screw going through that
damn.
one.
I'm
side.
also
I
good.
was, I was,
I'm
gonna
also
say,
good.
Then we could put Caleb in the portal.
Yeah. Ooh, like
Oh,
literally
you're
have
talking
you
about
in the
between
portal.
The two mirrors.
Oh
Yeah, no.
fuck that! You remember when we talked about that one short
Yeah.
where the guy got into an elevator that had mirrored
Yeah.
walls, and he was like looking
He
at
saw
the
somebody way
yeah,
down the
like
infinite
50
mirror.
rows
Oh.
down, just peek their head out. Like fuck
Yeah, no,
that.
that is terrifying.
Like
Yeah.
when you said like at the very beginning, like when you look into reflection and it gains strength.
Yeah.
I just like immediately like stared at myself.
Yeah,
I was
you're like,
come
you
on,
ain't gonna fucking do shit, bro.
come on.
Right now, I am the prime.
But that's
Because
the thing,
that's
is
what
you're
it's
pissing it
saying
off.
is like when you connect with your reflection in the mirror, you are in control. It's when you're not
Yeah.
paying attention is when it's less control.
So
So
do I
like
need to
that's
look
why
in the more mirrors?
intoxication
Yeah.
fucks with your eyesight and everything else. That's why it makes it where it's less in control.
So, if you get
So what are they
drunk
doing
as
when we're
shit-
sleeping?
That's if I think that would be when they are in the most control because your eyes are shut.
Yeah.
So that you're literally cutting the main like sense that
Yeah.
like helps connect you to the
Oh my.
Oh my god, I don't know what that
Hello.
was.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That scared the shit out of me.
It wasn't even a scary noise.
What was it? What
Your
is
battery
it say?
saver is on now.
Oh, okay. Oh shit.
Nope.
That was so loud.
It was very loud.
Oh,
Oh goddamn. Okay, are we
All right.
drawing?
Are we gonna do our drawings now?
I think so.
I
Okay.
can't wait to watch the video back and see if the EMF like ever spiked.
I don't know if
Oh
you're gonna
my
be able to read
God.
it. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I
from
don't know
there.
if you can see. Or maybe if you just tweak down like everything,
highlights and
yeah,
stuff.
and let the brightness show.
Oh.
Dude, this has been a good episode. These are all great stories, and I hope that like, people enjoy when we do the ones that aren't live on Twitch too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like, because I feel like it's like a different kind of energy in a way, and like
Definitely,
we're able to
especially that
really
we're
focus
7
more.
hours away from home.
Yeah, we're
It's a very
7
different
hours
vibe.
away from home, guys.
Big difference.
I mean,
Yeah.
the only way to know is if y'all let us know. So like,
yeah, honestly.
Yeah, please
leave a comment down below.
Yes.
If you're watching this on YouTube,
Tell us on Monday night.
tell us on Monday night on
Yes.
Twitch. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yes. Dude, I drew last time.
I don't know if there's reviews on Spotify,
Hold it.
but you can give ratings on Spotify. So
Yeah,
give us a honest rating on Spotify.
Yeah. And be sure to follow us too, because that, like all those different kinds of numbers and like the comments and subscribing and things, that what that does is it helps with the algorithms of these apps to like see that people like you that listen to certain things like our podcast. So then it puts us in like a like a thing where
I like
someone might search a horror podcast in metal together and realize like, oh, it's a fucking metal band doing a horror podcast. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, please, that really helps us, and it's all for free. You don't have to. Yeah, time is a very valuable thing, and you are spending a little bit of time doing that. We'll always be thankful for that, but you don't got to spend any money. That if you want to help us, it's the best way to do it.
So while you were talking there, we drew
Uh-huh.
for the next episode and a little talking point.
Uh-huh.
This one I think might be a good talking point. We got UFO. So I put UFO. for any kind of unidentified object, not alien related. It could be whatever.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
you have any stories, like I have one that's creepy, but it wasn't. I don't think it's anything paranormal. It was just I was driving down my road and an owl matched my speed in front of my windshield.
I've had that happen to me too. Like
Yeah.
literally is perfectly
Yeah.
flying. Like
That's
like,
weird.
That was a big poof.
Yeah,
noise
it's weird.
from that.
I've had similar happening on that same road.
Where was yours at? Did you have that on my road?
Yeah, it was on your road.
Oh my god.
You
Why,
know,
though?
you know that owls are related to aliens. In some
I remember you
cases.
telling me
Like, I
about this,
don't-
but I don't know what the connection is.
I don't know if mine was an owl, but
Well, I gotta hope it was
oh
an
my
owl.
god, yo,
What? What do you got?
Creamer Creek Banshee.
Oh shit. dude.
Oh shit! It's all about
So,
your road.
Okay,
right
this
now.
next episode's about the road.
That's fucking that's weird because like you I didn't pull
Yeah, no, I
this
know, I know.
until you already
so
started talking
One
about
thing though is the dolls situation. Are we just gonna dedicate an episode to dolls?
I know for sure I have a story that I'm in. Like I want to write for you.
Okay.
it. I just realized, like audio listeners, I pulled Creamer Creek Banshee from Steve.
Yeah.
Steve is our jar.
Yeah.
think
of,
Our
that's
of
jar
topics.
of scoops.
But yeah, I pulled it right after Caleb had already started talking about shit
Yeah.
that has
On this
happened
road.
on Creamer Creek.
It's fucking meant to be. That's
Yeah,
what
so
it is.
That's the next full episode, which will
All
not.
right.
The next one will be dolls. That'll be our next recorded episode, right?
Is the dolls?
No, it's that
No,
one.
Creamer Creek
Oh,
Banshee.
Creamer
Creek
Creek.
Banshee,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
we can do that. And then dolls will be like one that we do off stream.
That's gonna be dolls' is next stream Monday night.
Oh, so we're doing dolls and Creamer Creek.
No. Next, okay, so live stream Monday
Yeah.
is Dolls.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay,
Next recorded podcast.
is going to be the Creamer Creek Banshee.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm excited because I don't know
At least-
a lot
at least-
about this.
At least one. Somebody's got to do
Like,
at least
I've heard
one
y'all
story.
talk about Creamer Creek Banshee like 3 or 4 times
Okay.
now, and I have
I'm-
no idea.
The
Don't
I'm
Banshee
down
is
to-
I
a
don't wanna know.
self-given name.
I know,
it's,
but
it's not
like-
like a thing that's popular.
So it's not like the screaming banshee of like
No,
Mexican
no,
folklore.
this
Okay.
is
But
our
I
own
was
thing.
thinking about doing
Or creating
a
a
story
story.
of like
Of the
giving
Banshee.
the backstory of Banshees.
Uh-huh.
It's so we say banshee, but it's just a series of like just weird things that have happened on this
And you
road.
think that it might be
We don't
like
know
an
what it
entity.
is.
You're putting an entity to the
I don't even know if I want to
situation.
call it
So,
an
well,
entity. It
the
feels
only
like cryptid type stuff too.
Oh,
okay, so the only like humanoid like happening was your story of the man.
Yeah.
Have you told this on the podcast?
I don't know, but if not, I'm gonna tell it anyways on the
Yeah.
episode.
don't tell it.
And then Summer's story.
Yeah, Summers. Yeah,
Oh, she has
So-
one too.
yeah, she has
Yeah.
one.
Oh man, I'm
So,
kind.
but like those are the only like humanoid like related stories. Everything else that's weird has happened has either been like the paranormal shit that we've
Yeah.
been experiencing at his garage, or like other just weird shit. On
Well,
the
I
road.
will say that even before we started doing this, like when we first started like playing at your house, I remember the first drive to your house. That road feels weird.
There's definitely
Yeah.
some
It has
some
energy. It
yeah.
has some energy.
We'll have to
on it.
talk about it a little bit. Maybe I can
Oh,
do some research
man.
or something. I don't know.
The owl thing. Back to the owl thing with the UFOs,
Yeah.
though. So there's a show. There's a movie called The Fourth Kind. I
Yes.
highly recommend watching it, and it explains it in depth and detail. But it's based on true events of like this. She basically put people under to help them with like sleeping and stuff, and she starts like they start associating like being abducted with an owl. Like I don't know if it's like maybe the alien replacing the memory with just
Yeah.
an owl sitting like at their window or whatever. But the reason why a lot of people associate with owls is the big eyes, just how owls they're huge,
Yeah.
in general, and just like the weird turning of the
Yeah,
head
exactly.
and like all that
So
stuff.
it's weird that you say that because I watched a it was basically they sat down with a medium and like they put some stones on the person's chest and
Hot stones like that.
no like not stones crystals.
Crystals.
Oh,
okay.
crystals. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like crystals that they would use to
that
for
they're-
protection
Yeah.
and all that. And basically the medium would like what is it? Where you basically take out sound of the room.
Oh, sensory deprivation.
Yeah, deprivation. They would basically deprivate the person on a table with the crystals, and the medium would open a like a portal or just a communication, and and the subject had visions of aliens, owls,
Yo.
like all the shit you just talked about.
Oh man, dude.
Like angels.
Yeah.
Yeah, just otherworldly beings.
Yeah, a lot of people like think that angels are aliens. Like,
Yeah.
they just think that it's our brain trying to comprehend like a
To
being.
understand.
Yeah.
So aside from owls and stuff, do y'all have any other like UFO unidentified flying things that we didn't talk about during the aliens?
They're in the aliens episode.
Because I can't think of anything. Like
No, like would like orbs or anything count?
Yeah,
like that?
it's unidentified.
Yeah,
as
like I
flying.
mean,
have
I've
you
had
seen orbs?
Yeah,
What?
dude. So
Yeah,
okay.
you talked about the green thing.
So you know how?
Oh, that's
no,
right.
no.
Is
That's
that
not what
what-
I'm talking about.
oh,
No.
okay.
So you know how
Well, would
like
you classify that as an orb?
but that was it looked like a comet.
Oh.
But like a comet that had the ability to like
Yeah,
change
zigzag.
its direction. Yeah. And it was in space. This like if I could like find the box that has all of my pictures in it, you know, I used to take disposable cameras and shit and go like ghost hunting all the time. And there's a house in Brenham that is by Lowe's. It's in a patch of trees, and apparently the story of this house is doctor lost his mind. He got a divorce and everything, and one of his daughters, he had 3 daughters, one of them died from like leukemia or something, and he couldn't save her, and so he snaps and he killed the other 2 daughters in the house, and the house was like abandoned and shit. Like I went there multiple times.
Yeah.
Super abandoned. Like we found all kinds of stuff, but yeah, there was like blood on the shower curtain and like all these different things, axe marks in the garage door and
Crazy.
shit. Yeah, there was a giant beehive. Bees is a representation of evil in a lot of like lore. There was a beehive that went from the bottom of the roof outside all the way down to the ground. It was that big. It was so big and so loud that you could hear it. Like when you got out of the car, it was just like
That's wild.
Yeah.
Don't go mow that lawn.
right. And and just the way the house was like set up was really weird. The kitchen was actually in like a hallway thing that was like not connected to the house. Like houses were built like that back in the
Yeah.
day because kitchens made the houses hot, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and but yeah, when I went there with the disposable camera and taking pictures and stuff, I caught so many different orbs like all
That's so
over the
weird.
place. The shower curtain one especially had like a it looked like smoke, but it was like in the corner of the picture. Like, so it couldn't have been like a reflection because I was taking a picture of just the part that where the blood was on the shower curtain.
Yeah.
And so that's why it was predominant. You could see it because the shower curtain was yellow, and you could see it over the yellow of the shower curtain in the corner of the
okay.
picture. Like when I got them developed, I remember going through and I was just like, holy
Yeah.
shit. There was also a giant star that was inverted. So it was like, you know, the whole Satan, like the inverted pentagram.
Oh my God, dude.
The inverted pentagram thing. Okay, the battery's running really low.
Gotcha. Well,
But yeah, like it was sitting out on a porch that you couldn't walk on, so we don't know how it got there and everything. But yeah, it was pretty creepy. But anyways, guys, we got to cut it short. The battery on my
Yeah.
laptop is dying for some reason. But
wild.
we do want to give a shout out. Make sure you check out Terraform Podcast and Dark Hour Podcast. Those are our 2 podcast buddies that we love, and we listen to all their episodes. I actually like saved episodes to binge on this trip, you know,
Yeah, the 7
so
hour
that I
drive.
had time, you know, had stuff to listen to and everything. But yeah, and
The
please,
AC?
if you
Jesus
like what you
Christ.
hear, like drop a follow, subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment. If you have any comments on what we talked about, please, you know, talk to us. We have a link tree now that has like an email specifically made for you to like send stories if you want us to read a fan story and things like that. And also be sure to tune in on Twitch on Monday. We'll be live streaming episode 6, which is going to be dolls. So you're going to get to see your boy cry.
Yeah, no, if you're watching this when it comes out, it's tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be
because this will
tonight.
come out Monday morning,
Yeah.
and then tonight would be the doll episode. So you
That's
get double
right.
the spoops on Mondays. Hell yeah, dude. Well, thank you so much for listening, and know that we appreciate and love all of the people that have, you know, come in and just told us how awesome and they love the podcast and everything. It's crazy that we just kind of took this idea and ran with it. But yeah, hope you have a spoopy night.
let's go rock a stage in Lubbock, Texas.
Let's fucking
Go. Yeet.